Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really nice to take this opportunity to speak with you. At the moment, we're speaking to some very inspirational people across the board in tech, and you were definitely someone I wanted to speak to. So, thanks for joining. Firstly, can you please just explain about your position at Cognigy, how you came there, and yeah, just your impact in your role at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So it's always a bit difficult to explain my role at
Mhm.
Cognigy, but I will start by telling you, of course, what is my position, my title. So it's Engineering Enablement Specialist. And as I
Mm.
was saying, I mean, only by looking at the name, we cannot have a good understanding of what I do.
Yep.
But basically, it's kind of a mix between being an agile coach and a psychologist, because I'm
Mm.
actually a psychologist.
Yep.
And I just try to enable people. I'm not technical at all. I don't have that type of knowledge. So I just make sure that, we have the right work environment to
Mm.
work, to grow, to feel safe. And I also do a lot of work with the managers.
Mhm.
I'm part of the organizational decisions also, to make sure that we are always, making decisions not only based on facts and numbers, but
Mhm.
also on people with these, psychology insights that I think
Yeah.
they are always beneficial, always.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
basically what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it is really interesting that you're kind of combining your professional, obviously as a psychologist, going into this agile coaching, because I think that is something that is not actually spoken about enough in tech. It's all about actually people and actually managing them as a person. And from your background, you could have taken a couple of different routes. Is there a specific reason why you went into tech at all, or was it just what you kind of fell into?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be both, I would say. I
Mm.
mean, in a sense that I studied to be a doctor, so
Mm.
I can still be a doctor, of course, and focus more on that. But the problem is, in Portugal, from where I come from, it's
Hmm.
just so difficult to find opportunities in that area. And
Okay.
also, I don't know, I just felt like psychology is so interesting, human behavior and
Hmm.
stuff. It's so interesting that I wanted to share also in the knowledge that I learned in different contexts.
Hmm.
And then I also knew that I didn't want to stay in Portugal, so I wanted to
Hmm.
move eventually to Germany, just for a while, because
Yeah.
I also have family here. So I don't know, I was just looking for opportunities, and then I got an internship for a startup, a tech or IT
Nice.
startup.
Yeah.
And this was basically how it all started. And then I start using my psychology knowledge here and there in sales, marketing, in products. And then I got a job as a scrum master, my first job actually in the
That's
in the
cool.
area.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I was really lucky that I had an interview with Cognigy. And here we really appreciate talent over
Mm.
sometimes hard skills, so,
Yeah.
or tech skills. So basically, they just gave me this opportunity. They created this role for me, just
Hmm.
because they like how I presented myself, my skills, my psychology
Hmm.
background, I would say. And they just created this for me, and I've been working here since 3 years. So yeah, I'm
Nice.
really lucky, but it's
It's
kind
going
of
well.
by chance. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Always.
that's good. And I think, like you keep touching points on, is you are very much focusing on a kind of psychology background and going into being a scrum master, and that's how you've fallen into it. But did you have any type of like role models or mentors actually growing up that pushed you in this direction of your journey?
Well, not pushing into the tech direction,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But I had a lot of people, of course, who I don't know, were inspiring me and helping me to
Mm.
grow as a person and as a professional. So it's very difficult to name specific people, I would say.
Mm.
But of course, I'm very grateful for example, the managers that I had on my way, that saw the talent in me and wanted to develop me
Yep.
in the professional world, and also in the tech world.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, maybe if we talk more, about important people, or I don't know, writers or
Yeah.
speakers. I like a lot Simon Sinek and also
Mm.
Adam Grant, for example. They also, I don't know, they try a lot to make the workplace a better place.
Yep.
And for me, this was always very important because like I grew up with my parents, and
Mm.
they are very hardworking. But my dad, he worked for a long time in a company, and he was always complaining, saying that he couldn't bring himself to work, and
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of bullied also at work.
Oh
And
no.
so he would always come home, and he would bring this, I don't know, energy. And I would always feel like if working in a place, if it's like this and feels like
Yeah.
this, then I don't wanna be part of this. I don't wanna
Yeah.
work, you know.
Yeah.
This was always what I thought. So I don't know, I just felt like in, I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to make sure that we could have fun at work, and we could be
Yeah.
respected at work, and we could still have, enjoy, because
Mm-hmm.
yes, we separate work from private life, but in fact, this is all part of our days. This
Mm-hmm.
is all part of
Yeah.
our lives. So if I'm going to
Massively.
spend 8 hours
Most of it.
doing a job, yes, exactly. I really want to enjoy it. I really want to
Yeah.
have fun. I don't want to be a different person. Of course, I need to
Yeah.
adjust myself, of course, but I don't want to be a different person.
No, of
So
course.
all of these things together, I think they influenced.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I can say that my dad was also a mentor
Oh,
somehow, because
100%. Yeah. No, I think that's
I
a
guess
huge
so.
part. Yeah. No, I
Exactly.
think that's lovely. And like you said, I think you are at your workplace for most of your time because you need to feel secure and you need to feel comfort in the people that are around you. And I think that's
Exactly.
why another thing with your position is just in the kind of culture, but also for the diversity and inclusion part of it as well, is to make sure that people of all genders, of all ethnicity, are feeling included and feeling supported where they are. So I think that's really good. Is there anything in particular at your time at Cognigy that you do in particular to really touch upon diversity and inclusion to really make sure that it's, yeah, being looked after and supported? Because I think that's a really, really strong part of your passion as well as the company's passion.
Exactly. Yeah, we try to bring as much diversity as possible. And of course, here we are talking about different aspects, right? Not only
Yes.
gender related, but also nationalities and
Hmm.
and so on, of course, and
Yeah.
different types of personalities. And I think that we are doing quite a good job in that regard. I mean, at Cognigy, we have so many people from so many nationalities,
Hmm.
and this is so important because when we are building new teams or trying to hire new people, we always have a look at this. So it's very important for us that we have very diverse teams,
Hmm.
meaning that we need to have men, we need to have women also in there. We need to have these different nationalities because this just makes the discussions and the outcomes way
Yes.
better.
Yeah, I
It's like,
agree.
yeah, sometimes it takes more to take a decision, okay, but you have so many point
Yeah.
of views actually, that it's just it's very good for everything and for the company, because you always
Hmm.
have, new ideas, new ways of seeing things. It's very, very important. So what we do
Definitely.
is we have the normal hiring process, but we also have what we call culture fit interview. And
Okay.
of course, this is not like there is something wrong with your personality, so you don't stay with us. Nothing like that, of
No.
course. But what we want to make sure is that the values of the person are aligned with ours and vice versa. And
Yes.
also that what the person is looking for in life and for their nature actually fits at Cognigy also, and vice
Mm,
versa.
yeah.
Because we want to keep our people, we want them to be happy, because when they are happy, of course, the happy, knowing that happiness is something that comes and goes. But what I mean
Hmm.
is like this feeling of belonging, of feeling fulfilled, and you can grow in your career. We want people to have this feeling.
Yeah,
So basically,
that's good.
we try as much to hire people who are aligned with our values, and I think that we are doing really, really a pretty good job in this regard.
Yeah, definitely. We hear a lot of good things. So it's always, if you know people talking well
Yeah,
about the company, you
just
know you're doing well.
maybe, yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe one thing I just want to clarify is that
Yeah, of course.
that diversity is important indeed, and of course we want to have as like different people as
Yeah,
possible. But one thing that is also important to clarify is that it's more important to find the right person for the job,
yeah,
and sometimes that is not a woman. I mean, I would love to have more women
yeah.
in the department, and we want to hire more. But it's we also need to be careful about this, you know, and
Hmm.
we should always try to find a balance. Okay, we want more diversity, but is this person the right one for the
Yes.
job? And sometimes I even go to interviews a bit biased, because when I have interviews with women, I'm like, please, please be good, please be good, please be, because of course we want to bring
We
more
need you.
women.
Yeah.
But then you always need to be careful with this, because in the end it's not about, you know, being a woman or a man or whoever. It's about the talent, it's about
Hmm.
the personality of the person and how well they fit in terms of values, etc.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to clarify
Yeah,
this,
no, of
because
course.
I
And
don't think we should look only at numbers, but
no.
at personality, of course.
And that's why it's all about not only just the first hire, but it's also about the support system as well. So it's not about, like you said, trying to diversify the teams for the sake of it, but actually nurturing the people in the team and putting the support system around them so they do stay with you. Not just bringing people on for the sake of it, just like you said,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
actually bringing in the talent, obviously being a little bit more mindful that you do need to diversify, but however, you do need to get the right people for the job. And actually, then that effort is to support the people in the
Yes.
team so that they stay there. Because there are some statistics. I think it's like 40% of women over 35 leave their job because they don't feel supported. Where actually, if we tackle that kind of statistics and be like, right, great, you got them on the team, but how are we going to help them? But
Exactly.
also, it's exactly the same, different cultures,
And
different
also
way
try
of
to
working.
understand, is it, sorry to interrupt you, but
That's
is
all
it
right.
because of the manager they don't feel supported, because of the manager, because of the team,
Yep,
because of
exactly.
the company itself? I think
Yeah,
it's I think sometimes we try to make things so, you know, black and white,
yeah,
and there are so many things there, and and sometimes we need to see case by case. This is also very
yes,
important, because
yeah,
situation can be all different. But I didn't know about this statistics,
yeah.
so so it's
I've
scary
learned that
that it's the
recently. The
case.
more that I'm like diving into it and really being an advocate and ambassador for Women Rock, the more I'm learning. And when I found that out, I was like, wow, it's not just the starting point of actually making an impression with diversity, it's actually the long term and what we can do to just help everyone to be supported and take into account that other people, case by case, are very much particular with what they need to kind of keep them there. Is there a time that you maybe didn't feel supported in particular, that you had to kind of flag that up to maybe adjust the way that they were supporting you in your team at all? Or do you feel like you've actually been quite supported the whole way through so far?
Yeah, I think that, like, when I think about this question for the first time,
Yeah.
I think that I was always supported.
Mm,
I cannot complain about anything. Of course, I mean, I'm not saying that things are perfect. There are situations where, when there is a conflict, there is a miscommunication,
mm,
a problem, like a clash of personalities or so.
mm.
But I think that everything can be solved with a transparent and honest conversation.
Yep.
Because sometimes, I mean, I always say this: people don't do bad things usually with bad intentions. They do it because they don't know that they are doing something in
Mm,
a bad way for you. So
yep.
sometimes it's so important to have this honest conversation where you understand the other person's point of view, they understand how they made you feel, and then usually you can solve the problem. And
Mm,
if you cannot, if
that's
you reach
true.
a point where there, even with an honest conversation, you are not aligned or something
Yep.
like this, then you need to
Yep.
think twice if you really want to stay there. So it happened
Mm,
before, and it's okay. I prefer it much more to, of course, try and make it work. But if then we are mature enough to understand if it's not working, then let me try to find something that fits me
yeah.
more. And it's
Definitely.
fine, it's we should do this not only with
Yeah.
work but with everything in life, with relationships and
Mm.
with I don't know, everything. Very
That's
important.
true. And it is a little bit like education as well. It's like you said, like if your needs are kind of not getting met and you are able to just voice it and ask, look, this is how we need to change it. And if
Yes,
they change it, great, which they should.
exactly,
And I
exactly.
think that's why it's really good to have platforms like this. The more that we talk, the more that we kind of have a voice, the more that we can kind of educate people how maybe to help with diversity. And if they do have any like what can we do, they know that they can come to us. And I feel like the best people in life are people that are willing to learn and people
Yes.
that can take on the experiences. So this is why it's always good to speak about it. But it sounds
So
like you
nice,
had
so nice.
yeah, it sounds like you've had a really, really good impact throughout your whole career. Next, like, how do you have a balance? I know you've got a lot going on, but what is it do you do outside of work to keep a balance with obviously a lot going on in a workplace?
To keep a balance is a very interesting question. So you mean like a balance in my life, like mental health and so?
Yeah, and like work and family and friends, like how do you, as like obviously we've got a lot of people in our life and it is sometimes hard
Yes,
to
yes,
do
yes, yes.
that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like
So
sometimes with work, because we want to put, I feel like me and you are very similar, put a lot into it. Sometimes we're like,
yes.
oh, actually, we need to see our friends and family. So is there any kind of hobbies you do? Do you like going out for dinner or anything like that?
Yes, so for example, I try to do as many sports as I can,
Oh, okay.
at least one time per day, or even just going for a walk or so. I think it's so so important, especially since our jobs, or my job at least,
Yeah.
is remote. So I spend a lot of time sitting in a chair. I also, of course, try to eat healthy, super
Yeah.
important, also for your mental health. And then I don't know, I play guitar, I go out with my friends, same things, and I have a calendar. This is how I can manage
Oh, do
everything.
you?
Yes, I have a calendar even for friends
Oh,
and
nice.
family, because I like to do so many things at the same time, and
Yeah.
I'm always running from here to there. And sometimes what happens is you need to neglect something,
Mm.
and then you when you text someone, it's just very brief, very short.
Hmm.
And I really like to take some time to focus in one person and give them my
Yeah.
full attention. So what I do is I block times in my calendar, just 1 hour or two, and it's just for calling
Just
this
yeah,
person, even just for 5 minutes conversation, but I want to make sure that I
that's
keep
good.
nurturing my relationships and my family, of course.
Mm.
Also very important. It's part of the relationships, of course.
Yeah, of course. You're
Um,
very
yeah,
organized.
yeah. I need to be, otherwise I would drown in my own chaos.
It's just too much to do, too much to go through. Oh no, that's really good. And I think that's what it's really nice to be able to have that balance because I feel like having that balance, you can then show up the next day to work, feel your best self, but then you also have the support with your friends, family outside of it as well. And I think that's a major good thing. Well,
Yes.
it's been lovely speaking with you and just getting
Thank
insight of your life. I feel like it's incredible what you're doing, bringing a kind of like personal touch to the tech world and really kind of helping the teams kind of with diversity, but also culture and just making sure that everyone is happy, which is lovely to hear. Really, really appreciate your time. I'm sure we're going to talk again soon, and we'll catch up soon. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
for
We'll
your
speak
time.
soon. Bye.